Welcome back to our video. Today we are back for another NFL video, and this is something I have not done at all on this channel, but I wanted to try it. And so we're going to do a tier list basically of all the NFL QBs this year, but this list has some QBs that also aren't in the league at the moment, so I guess we'll just mix them into, fine with me. If you guys go on to enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Also, let me know down below if you like this type of video, because I haven't done anything like this before. I talked about the other day on one of my past videos that I was going to be trying to introduce a couple more different types of NFL videos that I haven't done before. This is one of them, and I have another type coming, I think, tomorrow as well. So 2 NFL videos in a row, today and tomorrow. And both brand new kind of series, I guess, to the channel. So if you like them, let me know down below. But now we'll just get into it. Also, I'm doing this on my Xbox, so that's why my cursor is huge. I'm not sure why it's big, and I can't find out how to change it. So if anyone lets me know, or if anyone knows how, please let me know, because I hate how big this thing is. But moving on, we have basically elite, superstar, great, good, average, prospect, below average, and backup as far as the tiers go for these quarterbacks. I'm gonna try and keep this video no longer than 20 minutes. I don't want it to turn into me just rambling and going on and on and on. So we'll try and make it pretty concise when it comes to each player. First up is Aaron Rodgers. Now, also we're doing this for this season, mid-season, week 11 QB rankings. I'm not doing this overall for their career. So talking about Rodgers this year, I would say he's been average. It feels weird putting him there, but he had one game against the Lions where he threw multiple red zone interceptions and ended with 3 interceptions, 3 straight. They did just beat the Cowboys, which was a great win, and then turned around and lost the Titans. So I mean that probably is gonna upset some people. In my opinion, I don't think he's been that good. I think he's just been fine, and although I will say it's not totally on him. He doesn't have a whole lot to work with. So I'm not saying it's all on Rodgers, but the way he's playing this year, even if taking into account the players around him, I think he's honestly just been pretty average. He still made some great throws, but nothing that really makes me be like, wow, he's doing amazing despite the players he has. It's kind of more yeah, he's been all right with not good players around him. So that is disappointing. Moving on to Andy Dalton. He has played this year for the Saints because Jameis Winston's been out, for anyone that maybe didn't know that. And I gotta say, just below average. He had, I think, one game, I think it was in London, where he looked pretty good, and then since then they've been kind of They did shut out the Raiders, which was good, but then he also turned around and played the Cardinals, and he threw 2 pick sixes. I mean, it was pretty bad. So I don't think there's much more to talk about there. Dalton's probably just below average. Baker, being a Panthers fan, I know all about him this year, and I'm going to say he's backup or below average. It's got to be somewhere in there. Okay, I'm going to put him in backup for right now. To be fair, I have not got to see, or I guess anyone has not been able to see him without Matt Rule. And Matt Rule is a terrible coach. And, I mean, the complete turnaround. The Panthers are by no means a great team without him. But, the morale and the way some players have played has just been totally different. So, maybe when Baker plays Sunday against the Ravens, he looks better with a different coach. I don't know, but I haven't seen that yet, so I'm putting Baker in backup. And next is my guy Cam. He hasn't played this year, which I did say this is a mid-season thing, so we'll just leave him there for right now, and we'll come back to him if I feel like I need to throw him in one of these categories. And then after him is Case Keenum, which I don't think he's played this year, and if he has played, I mean, he's just a backup. Not much to say there. Carson Wentz, I'm going to say he played below average. He just had his job taken by Taylor Heineke, who is now ruled as a starting quarterback against Houston this coming weekend. And Wentz had some games where he had over 300 passing yards, or even close to 400, maybe even 400. But a lot of those kind of came in garbage time when they were already down. And ever since he went out, they went on a bit of a winning streak. So I'm saying Wentz was a bit of a below average QB this year. And who knows if we'll see him again this year at all. Dak is probably going to be my highest on the list. I'm going to say he's good this year. Okay, people like to point out statistically the Cowboys have not done as well with Dak in when Cooper Rush was in, but I mean the offense is completely different. Cooper Rush is in, that's not really the Cowboy style offense. So I would argue that Dak is a good quarterback, and he has played well this year. And the Cowboys look to be a good team. I think the Packers was like a loss that was kind of like, that was bad since they blew like a 14-point lead. I believe they had 17 unanswered points scored on them to lose in overtime. So I am going to say Dak is playing good this year. Not great, but I wouldn't necessarily say average, because I will say compared to Rodgers, who's also an average, Dak has better players around him, which also helps. So I'm going to put him in good. Justin Fields, at this point in the year, I want to say great, but I also honestly want to put him below down to prospect, because technically he is still a bit of a prospect in the sense that his rushing ability is incredible. His passing ability is good. He had 3 passing touchdowns. I can't remember who it was. It was before the Lions game. And it looked like a good game, but can he do that every week? I'm not really sure. So I want to put him in prospect just because it's definitely there. Like, everything is definitely there. If he can do this consistently the rest of the year, then I would move him up to great, because he doesn't have the best receivers around. They just got Chase Claypool, which is a big help. But overall, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that he's super reliable in the passing game. He makes some great throws for what he has. So I'm going to put him in prospect just for right now. If he finished out this year and you're watching this like after the Super Bowl or something, he goes on to have a great rest of the season, then I would honestly put him in great. If he stays where he is, where he has kind of inconsistent passing games but still great rushing games, I'm going to leave him in prospect just because I think there's a lot there, but it hasn't really been unleashed quite yet. And I think maybe next year, if they get some more weapons around him or anything like that, or just maybe another year of experience, I think might be the year he really kind of blows up, because he's already doing great now. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Next is Daniel Jones. I'm going to put him in good because he's honestly played well. The Giants, I think, are 7-2 or 7-3 now. Coming up, they will have to play the Cowboys again, which will be interesting. And overall, I think the Giants are a solid team. Daniel Jones, I mean, Saquon is amazing, but Daniel Jones, if you do watch him, he does make good reads compared to years past, where he's just made some really questionable decisions. So I wouldn't say he's a great QB by any means, but I think he is playing just pretty good, and that's what I'm going to put him in. Davis Mills, I'm going to say, is below average. There's really not a lot to look forward to for that Texans team, except Dameon Pierce and Derek Stingley. Other than that, it seems like they really don't have a lot going for them. But you know what? Those young pieces are going to help them in the future. I don't think Davis Mills is part of that future, though, at least in the long run. Next is Derek Carr, and this is really tough for me because they've blown a lot of leads, and it's kind of hard to separate that sometimes from, like, the quarterback. So has Carr played well? Yes, but I would say it hasn't been great or even good for that matter, because if you're up by that much, you have to finish out the games. Even if you played great up to that point, if you are blowing a 20-0 lead to the Cardinals, like, that's a problem. It really is a problem. So I'm going to say he's played pretty average. He hasn't played great, or even really, I wouldn't say, I don't know. It's kind of weird to have good, like, the in-between, because I would rather just go from average to great almost, because good, I think, is such a gray area. So I'm going to leave him in average, but Carr just, I don't know. It's been a weird year for the Raiders, and I'm not really sure what the whole problem is there. Next is Watson, and we haven't seen him play, so I'm not even going to put him up there. And next is Drew Lock. I haven't seen him play this year, and Minshew, who's not, I don't think, on a team right now. So I'm just going to skip all of them. Right to Jacoby Brissett. I will say he's played average. I think he's done his job for the Browns. He has not played spectacular and had all these great games, but he hasn't really been like a huge factor that's why they're losing. So I think he's just been average. Like that's like the perfect category. We'll call that the Jacoby Brissett category, because I think he has just been very average this year. And a lot of times their run game puts him in spots to win. Over to Jalen Hurts though, so I'm going to put him in superstar. I don't want to put him in elite, because a lot of, I don't know, maybe I do put, I don't know, elite or superstar. I cannot decide. I'm going to leave him in superstar for right now. He's played incredible this year. They did just lose to Washington, which I would not put on Hurts. I mean, he threw like a perfect deep ball to Quez Watkins, who then stood up and just fumbled the ball and basically just fumbled the game away. The refs didn't help missing that face mask, but at the end of the day, if you have a chance to win even after that, you gotta try and close out games. I wouldn't say that's because of Hurts at all. And honestly, Hurts has not had very many bad games, if any bad games. The only reason I'm not going to put him in elite is because we're not all the way done with the year yet. If he finished out the year playing at this level, then I would honestly be tempted to put him in elite. Right now, I think he's playing at a superstar level, so I'm going to leave him there. Next is Jameis. I mean, is it even really fair to put him in a category because he's been hurt for so long? Like, he's played, like, what, like 2 or 3 games, it feels like. So, I'm not going to rank him. Jared Goff, I would say, is average or below average. I mean, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say average. Because, yes, the Lions have lost a lot of games, but a lot of them have been because of their because of their defense. I can't talk for some reason. Because of their defense, there's a time this year where they had the highest scoring offense and then the worst defense. Like, they'd allow a ton of points, so even if they were scoring a lot of points, it didn't really matter because they couldn't stop other teams. So, during that time, whenever they were scoring and everything, and I think they do score decently well, Jared Goff did do solid. He wasn't playing incredible, but I wouldn't say below average because if he was getting them down the field, he was getting them down the field. So I'll say average for Jared Goff. Jimmy Garoppolo is... I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo, so I'm really tempted to put him in below average. I'm going to put him in average, though, just because I feel like just an average quarterback. He doesn't really have, like, spectacular games, but he doesn't have, like, the worst games ever either, except, like, when he ran out the back of the end zone. That was pretty bad. But other than that, he has a lot of really, really great weapons around him, which is why I feel like he needs to be playing better than what he is. I think I saw a stat earlier this week that says he's, like, 8-2 or something like that whenever he has games with 0 touchdowns, which is, like, a good record for not doing anything, which is not the sign of a great quarterback. You're not really helping your team win very much. So I'm gonna put him in average. I mean, I want to put him below average. So I don't like him, but my unbiased opinion is probably just average because it is what it is. He doesn't do a whole lot, but he's not usually the cause of them losing, at least all the time. Next is Joe Burrow. Other than week 1, I'm gonna put Burrow in great, which is our first quarterback in great. I think he is playing better than the people in good that at least I have in good. But I wouldn't say he's on Jalen Hurts level. Burrow's played, I think, pretty great, honestly. Other than week 1, threw like 4 interceptions. He went on a streak there, though, where he had like 10 touchdowns to like maybe 1 interception since week 1 or maybe 0 interceptions at that point. He was doing great. They kind of fell apart in prime time against the Browns, which was really not good. And then I had the pleasure of going and seeing them absolutely dismantle the Panthers in person, so that was great. And that wasn't even really Burrow, that was Mixon. So he has had a great season, though, I think. He's really bounced back from week 1. Something to note, though, is week 1, whenever he did throw those 4 interceptions, like, he had his appendix removed like a month prior, so he wasn't fully 100%. Not trying to make excuses at all because it really isn't for 4 interceptions. But health does play a factor in it. So I'm going to put him in great because other than that game, I think he has been very good this year. And I can't see him doing that again against the Steelers this Sunday. But we'll see, I guess. Moving on to Jordan Love, I'm just going to say backup because that's what he is. I don't think he's very good even when I've seen him play. Like in games or even in preseason, I don't think he's looked very good. So I'm just going to have him in backup, which I guess technically I could rank like Drew Lock there. So I guess I'll throw Drew Lock in backup too. Minshew, I feel like if he played, would probably be in below average or even maybe average. I feel like he wasn't that bad. I'm not sure why he's not on the team, at least as a backup. But we'll leave these guys left off because I haven't really seen enough. Oh, not Cam. I haven't really seen enough of them or even really Watson at all. So these 2 guys I have not seen at all. So I'm not going to throw him up there. Josh Allen, I'm going to put up in elite because he has played elite all year except for that Jets to like Vikings game, but the Vikings game was an elbow injury. So before the elbow injury, he lost to the Jets, and he lost to one more team that I cannot think of for some reason. The Dolphins is another one. So I'm gonna put him in elite because I think he is playing. I also want to put him in superstar, so I'm not really sure. I'm going back and forth. It's hard doing this in the moment. I'm gonna put him in. Honestly, after the Vikings game, I know he's dealing with an injury, but I'm going to put him in superstar. I don't know. People might not like that. He has kind of, I wouldn't say fallen apart, but he struggled. His game against the Jets, when he threw those interceptions, they were bad interceptions. They were not good reads. And he hasn't seemed to bounce back well after that. So I know he has the injury now. That's why I'm kind of trying to give him the benefit of the doubt and put him in elite. We'll put him in elite. That's where I want to put him. Injury, I don't know. You have to factor that in at least at some point. So I'll just leave him there. We'll come back at the end and maybe move some people around. So just let me think about it for a little bit as well. Justin Herbert this year, I'm gonna put him in great because I think he has played great for the situation he's in. There are a lot of injuries on that Chargers team to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, his two like best receivers, and even him himself. Herbert's going through an injury as well. So I'm going to put him in great because for what he's been doing, for what he's been having to deal with, I should say, I think he has been pretty good. I think this is a big weekend for him though, because if they lose the Chiefs, they drop to 5-5, and the AFC is gonna get really competitive in the next few weeks, trying to get these last few playoff spots and everything for the wild card. Because I don't think they're gonna beat the division out and beat the Chiefs, or at least top the Chiefs, because that would mean the Chiefs have to lose like 3 or 4 more games, and I don't think that's gonna happen. So I'll put Herbert in great. That might get moved at the end again. We'll see. Kirk Cousins, I'm going to put in great because I think he's had a great year. I mean, he's been a huge part of that offense of getting Justin Jefferson the ball, obviously. I think now they got Hawkinson, just gives him another weapon. Everybody's seen the plane videos of them celebrating and everything. I mean, I don't know. I think this video is just really funny. But Kirk's had a good year. I would wish I could have his stats pulled up, honestly, for like his exact touchdown to interception ratio. But I want to say his interceptions are down at least no higher than 6, I wouldn't think. So I think Kirk does belong in the great category. I'm not sure if I'm going to move him or not, because I don't think I'm going to put him in superstar, but I don't really want to put him in good either. So I think we're going to leave him in great. Kyler Murray, I would say he's been good. I wouldn't say he's been great. I think he is now dealing with a hamstring injury, and he had Hopkins out for at least for I think 6 weeks. So, but even during that time, he's not been, I think, great. I know fantasy people that have him in fantasy might be a little upset because he's kind of underperformed sometimes. So he's definitely above average, I'd say, but we'll just put him in good. I think their roster is way better than what their record shows, so hopefully they can get that together because they're going to need to pretty quickly. Not a whole lot of season left. Lamar, I'm going to put in superstar because he has had a great year. He had a great start to the year, but he has since cooled off a little bit. And I don't know, should I move him down to great? I don't want to move him down to great. I want to put him in superstar. So I'm going to leave him in superstar. He hasn't even had Andrews a few weeks, and I think they did manage to win without Andrews. I had to check to make sure, but yes, they did beat the Saints on Monday night before their bye week without Mark Andrews. So I think Lamar's played great. I'm going to put him in superstar. I'm going to leave him there, I think, for right now. Mac Jones, I'm going to put below average. He has looked awful this year. Injury or not, he's looked so bad. There's a clip, you might even know what I'm talking about, against the Jets, where he like rolled out to the left side of the field and had a guy open and then second guessed himself and then just like threw it just straight down the field when no one was there. It was very odd to watch. So I think he is not the long-term answer for the Patriots at quarterback. I'm putting him in below average. Marcus Mariota is also going to join him there in below average. He has had some decent games, but that Panthers game when he threw the ball falling to the ground up in the air, that was just so bad. And I feel like at some point you got to give Desmond Ridder a shot, you would think, but maybe he's somehow even worse and we just don't know. But he's going to go below average for sure. Matt Ryan, I'm going to put in below average or average. I'm not sure. We'll put him in below average. He did get benched at one point. Whether that was the correct decision or not, he was certainly playing pretty poor beforehand. Maybe that was a head coach thing. I don't really know because they did come out with Jeff Saturday and beat the Raiders. Though the Raiders, we also know, did not look good, as Jeff Saturday also said himself before becoming the coach and beating them, which I still think is hilarious. So I'm going to put Matt Ryan below average. I don't think he's had a great year. Definitely underperformed. If he finished out the year strong, I think he can move to average. But for right now, he's going to stay in below average. Next is Matthew Stafford. I'm going to put him in average as well. I don't think he's done that great. And we're going to see just how great he's going to be without Cooper Kupp, because he's been fine this year. The Rams haven't been great. He's made some fine reads. I mean, but a lot of times it's going to Cooper Kupp. So now without Cooper Kupp, it's going to be really interesting to see how Matthew Stafford performs. I'll put him in average. He hasn't played horrendously bad, but he certainly has not played good. So I'm just going to leave him there. Trubisky, whenever he played, was, I think, backup QB caliber, and he's just going to stay there in backup QB. Nick Foles, I don't think he's played this year. I think he's still a backup, so we'll just throw him in backup, I guess. Patrick Mahomes, I don't think there's much of a debate here that he belongs in elite. He just, to watch him, it feels like every time he touches the ball, it's going to be a big play. And most of the time, it is a big play. So I'm not even a huge Patrick Mahomes fan, but he's just incredible to watch. He's so fun to watch, and it makes Chiefs games exciting too. So I'm putting him in the lead. I don't think there's like any argument there. Next is PJ Walker. So I am a Panthers fan, as you can probably tell, but PJ Walker, I don't think he is a backup QB. I think looking at the people in below average, I think he's more this tier. So I'm going to leave him here. I would say he's played better than Mayfield this year up until whenever Mayfield plays again. Maybe he'll play better. I don't really know. So we're going to leave PJ Walker here. He's had, I mean, against the Falcons the first time, he had a monster game. He didn't play great against the Falcons the second time because it was very rainy that game. So it was a lot of running and it was a bit slower paced. But he's proven he can do it. But then he turned around after the Falcons and went to Cincinnati. Couldn't even complete a pass. Had 2 interceptions and it was really bad. Mayfield came in and replaced him. I'm going to leave him below average. I think that's just where he is. But I'm not going to have a big argument over who's a worse quarterback when they're both just so not great. Next is Russell Wilson. And funny enough, he's also going to go in below average. He's played so bad. I mean, the one play that just sticks in my mind is it was a primetime game. It was either Monday night or Thursday night. One of like their 20 primetime games they've had this year. And he had KJ Hamler wide open on a slant to win the game against the Colts. And it's Thursday night. And instead, he threw like to, I don't even know who it was, with Stephon Gilmore right on him, who just knocked the ball down. And it was so weird to see that because the play was clearly made for the guy on the inside to kind of set like a basketball type pick for Handler to get open on the inside and then catch a touchdown. And Russ didn't even look in that direction. So he's made some awful reads this year. Their defense is the reason they've been in games. I heard earlier this week that if the Broncos would have scored 18 points in all of their games this year, they'd be 8-1. That's all it took, 18 points, because their defense is so good, but the offense just can't move the ball. So he's going below average for me. Next up is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is retired. So I'm not going to put him in backup QB. It's a little disrespectful. He's enjoying retirement. I'm just going to leave him right here. After him, though, is Ryan Tannehill, who was injured for a little bit, or maybe he was even sick. I can't even remember. It's one of those. He's played pretty average. He actually played pretty well against Green Bay last night. He did throw an interception. But I think other than that, just the huge part of their offense is Derrick Henry. Tannehill does not make a ton of great, like, deep ball passes because that's just not what their offense is. Although I will say, last night they ran a surprise pass on the Packers instead of just like running it out before 2-minute warning and hit Treylon Burks in stride for like 40 yards. It was a great pass. So I think Tannehill does have it in him, but I think when he's really playing a great game, it's just kind of average QB play. So I think that's a good spot for him. Heineke is a tough one because I want to put him. I don't know, honestly. I was gonna say below average, but he hasn't really played below average this year. Has he been good? Do we think he's been good or just average? I can't really. You know what? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna put him in good because he has completely changed Terry McLaurin's season around, complete turnaround for Terry McLaurin. Like, if you look at Terry McLaurin's stats with Wentz compared to with Heineke, I think McLaurin in 3 games with Heineke had more passing yards than all the other, like, 6 or 7 games with Wentz, or 5 games, or however long it was. So, I think Heineke knows how to use Washington's weapons better than Wentz, which makes sense. He's been there for, like, a couple of years longer. So I'm going to put him in good, and honestly, looking at this and seeing the quarterbacks I have Heineke above, I'm kind of okay with that, because he even beat Rodgers, and honestly, I think Washington could beat the Raiders if they played. And I know that there's a lot more that goes into it, but just comparing it by looking at it like this, I think I'm going to leave Heineke in good. Not sure why I like that, but Sam Darnold, we technically have not got to watch this year, so I'm just going to leave him here. This is Taysom Hill, who, I mean, when he plays quarterback, I would say, in my opinion, he's below average. I feel like that's really disrespectful because he does so much more for that team than that. So I'm not even going to rank him on here because I feel weird putting him in good above like other quarterbacks like Rodgers and stuff. But I don't want to put him in below average because he's a great player. So we're just going to leave him off the list. Moving on to Teddy Bridgewater. He's played very, very limited. Although I think overall he's just a backup QB. I mean, he can play below average, but since we haven't seen him enough this year, I'll just leave him backup QB because that is what he is right now. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to find a spot with Justin Fields in prospect because he's not necessarily below average, I would say, because he does have some great games, but he's really not clutch. Like, in very clutch situations when they need to move the ball in the field, he makes some very questionable decisions and turns the ball over. But I think there is a lot there, and he had his rookie year completely ruined by Urban Meyer. So I would go as far as saying this is like his true rookie year with a good coach. I'm going to cut him some slack and put him in prospects. I think he does have a lot of potential. Next is Trey Lance, who, I mean, I guess I could just put him in prospect as well because we saw like one game in like 5 minutes of him, and the game he played in was like just an absolute downpour of rain. So I'll leave him in prospect because I don't really know what to say about him. Tua, though, I'm going to put Tua in superstar because he has played so well this year. Despite his horrible head injury, he's come back and picked up right where he left off. He has great weapons around him, and he uses them so well. I mean, there's times where he underthrows a deep ball or whatever, but I mean, for the most part, on like whether it's a slant or a curl or whatever the route is, he usually hits them on target in the mid-range. And maybe he struggles with a deep ball. That's okay. He's still young. He has plenty of time to improve on that. So I'm putting Tua in superstar because that's just how he's played this year, is superstar tier in my opinion. And Tyrod Taylor, has he even played this year? I have no idea. I'm just going to put him back up. I can't even think of a game he's played in for some reason. And then lastly is Zach Wilson, and he is going to go in below average. He is not good. I mean, I know the memes and the jokes are so funny with him, but as a quarterback, he's not good at all. I mean, against the Patriots, there was a play where he tried to throw the ball away and just didn't throw it far enough. So the guy just like stood there and picked it off. Like, it was so odd. So I don't know. Maybe he has potential and he's just still trying to find his kind of identity as a quarterback. I'm not really sure. But as of right now, he's been below average. And the Jets usually win despite him, not because of him. So this is the tier list. I don't really want to put these quarterbacks on here. Like Cam, he hasn't even played this year. If we're talking against these other quarterbacks, then I would say Cam is probably below average. I think he's better than everybody else in these tiers. But let's leave these guys off for just a second and look over this. So in Elite, we have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to leave that there. I think I like that. Superstar, we have Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Tua. I'm fine with that. Great is Burrow and Herbert and Kirk. Good is Dak, Daniel Jones, Kyler, and Heineke. I think I'm cool with that. Average is Rodgers, Carr, Brissett, Goff, Garoppolo, Stafford, and Tannehill. Prospect is the 3 second-year QBs. Below average is Dalton, Wentz, Mills, Jones, Mariota, Ryan, Walker, Wilson, and Wilson. And then back up, we have Mayfield, Keenum, Love, Locke, Trubisky, Foles, Bridgewater, and Taylor. So I think I'm pretty good with this list. Honestly, I was a little iffy making some of my decisions. Maybe some of them are a little iffy. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to do that and screw up like that. But yeah, so I'm not going to throw these guys in, really, because I feel like it's just kind of weird. But you know what? All right, here. Just picture this right here. This is like our ending tier list of people that have played this year. So just if you're looking at like anything else, just exit out of the video right now. It's totally fine. We'll rank these guys right here. So Watson is really tough to rank because he hasn't played in like 2 years. But I think when he comes back, we'll throw him up in good. I think he's going to play good. Not playing in 2 years, I'm not putting him in great. If he comes out and plays great, then I'm wrong. But I don't think he's going to be this insane quarterback people were expecting without playing in so long. So I'm going to put him in good. Cam Newton, I would love to put in elite, which is just, that's just not true. I'm going to put Cam in, I would put him in average. Because looking at the QBs in this list, I think Cam is better than all of them, except maybe Wentz, because Wentz, I think, he sometimes just like racks up all these yards, and Cam's first instinct is to usually run rather than do that. But I think if Cam was playing, he would be an average, so we'll throw him there. Winston, I think everybody loves because of his personality, and he's just so funny, but he's really not a great quarterback, so I think he's probably below average. Minshew, I would put in average if he was in the league. I don't think he was too bad. Maybe I'm wrong, but I figured he was fine. I assume he's a backup somewhere, or maybe he's just not on a team at all, which is really unfortunate because I think he was not terrible. Fitzpatrick, before he retired, I would say is also average. He was just very reliable for everybody, it seems like. Taysom Hill's a quarterback, I would say is below average. He just did not look that great as a quarterback. But like I said, he does so much for that team, I did not feel right ranking him in something like that. Just to use all the rest of the players up, we'll do this. And then Sam Darnold is just probably a backup. I like that, I think, because I think PJ Walker is better than Mayfield and Darnold. So this, I guess, is the ending tier list. If you want to throw in everybody like Cam and Watson and all that, we'll do it like this. So let me know below any decisions that you think I maybe made incorrectly or changes that you would make. If you guys did enjoy, let me know down below because it's like a new type of video for me. So if you did enjoy it, and I think we're definitely over that 20-minute mark that I was aiming for. So sorry about that if it's too long. But if you want to see more tier lists or anything like this, let me know down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you never see my videos, whether that be Madden or NFL, because Madden, we do no money spent, and we do gameplays, we do new content and promos and all that kind of stuff. And then NFL, we do videos like this. We do week by week picks. We'll do award predictions. We'll do playoff predictions, all that type of stuff. So thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.